focus on the things related to the sexual activities.
That's fine.
Okay. So I'm not waiving any objections to any of the other.
Absolutely.
Okay. Number 38.
Same response, Mr. Berry?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Number 42.
You know what, I'm going to grant your objection on 38.
Number 42.
Okay. Same response, Mr. Berry?
Yes, sir, Your Honor, and I would point out that the girl that is displayed in number 42 does not look unlike our victim in this case.
And Your Honor, I would like to point out that the person represented in number 42 is an adult.
I understand.
And just because she is blonde, it doesn't mean that she resembles the deceased.
Okay. Next point.
Number 43.
All right.
Number 56.
All right.
Number 60.
Okay.
Number 63.
Okay.
Number 64.
All right.
Number 72.
All right.
And that is it for that particular notice.
Okay. Those objections will be overruled, and as they come up, you may have a running objection to their admissibility if they're played in the presence of the jury.
And Your Honor, may I place my argument against their admissibility on the record?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, what happens in someone's bedroom stays in someone's bedroom. That is between them and consenting adults. The Supreme Court has consistently held that our private lives are our private lives, and they cannot be used as an aggravator in a capital murder case. In the case Andrew v. White, recently the U.S. Supreme Court held that the due process clause can be violated by going into unnecessary and duplicative and multiple incidents that really bear no relevance. In that particular case, upon conviction, the prosecutors talked about the defendant in pejorious terms, called her a whore, called her a slut, held up her underwear in front of the jury. And this is in a capital murder case. They paraded some of her former lovers in to talk about their infidelities. And the Supreme Court said, wait a minute, that's not right. That there can be things that are so prejudicial that they render the punishment phase of a capital trial fundamentally unfair. And that's what we're talking about here. If all of this is admitted, that does render the capital or the punishment phase of this capital trial fundamentally unfair. Now, in the Andrew case, what they were looking for was, with regards to victim impact statements, they asked about that being a categorical bar because of the prejudicial value of them. And I agree with the Supreme Court in that regard, in that there should not have been a per se bar, that it's going to be done on a case-by-case basis and things like that. However, the Supreme Court went on to say that even though we're not going to give you the categorical bar for the victim impact statements, the due process clause is still in effect. And we look at the cumulative nature of the evidence, and we determine whether or not the cumulative nature of that evidence renders a verdict and a trial fundamentally unfair. Quite frankly, Your Honor, these are irrelevant. They are here for no other purpose than to inflame the passions of the jury and to allow the state to make those ridiculous comparisons saying, oh, they're blonde, therefore it must be the decedent, or reminds them of the decedent. Fundamental fairness. And this is not anything new. The Supreme Court has held on numerous occasions that when you have this accumulation of prejudicial evidence that the state brings, that they have crossed the line, that renders a case fundamentally unfair, and the Supreme Court has reversed convictions numerous times based on that. And so that's why we're asking that this not be allowed in. If you want to pick a few and say, you know what, bring that in. You know what, bring that one in. But the cumulative nature of the instances that they are trying to bring in is just fundamentally unfair. Especially when you're talking about things that occurred between consenting adults. There is no crime against having a threesome. There is no crime in trying to find somebody else to have a threesome. There is no crime in bragging about your sexual escapades. I mean, if our president can brag about it and do his locker room talk, then, and that's not, held against him, then why should that be used as an aggravator in a capital case to try to give Mr. Horner the death penalty? And that's what we're talking about. This is a life and death situation. And when we're talking about fundamental fairness, it is exceptionally and incredibly more important in a capital case because we don't get do-overs if he's executed. And so that's why we're asking that if you're not willing to exclude all, then you need to at least exclude some to take away the taint of the fundamental unfairness.
Your argument is received and the ruling remains the same. Are there on the other notices, do we need to address any of them in the other notices?
There will be some, Your Honor.
Do you want to wait until they come up and address them as they come up?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I think that will be the best for the ones in the supplemental notice from November the 19th of 2025. And that also might be best for the second supplemental notice for December 8th.
Does the state anticipate having any of that testimony today?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so we can address that as it gets closer?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And Your Honor, I believe the state had indicated that the majority of these others would be coming in the form of their expert witness. And so what I will do is I will reserve my objections to these other ones and address them as they arise.
Okay.
Your Honor, with regard, I just don't want there to be any mistake. I mean, the second supplemental notice, those are items that will come in, not the second supplemental, the first supplemental notice, the one that's in the middle. Those are items that are going to come in through the victims and the extraneous victims.
Understood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not through an expert.
Right, I understand.
No, I
Yeah.
was referring to the rest of them in the
Right.
first notice.
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay. Anything else we need to do before we break to open the courtroom to let everybody get seated?
Judge, we do need to re-urge our motion for continuance.
Okay, that's denied. Anything else?
How long do you think it will take? Because I have to go to the war room and grab something.
Let's shoot for 9:20. That's 10 minutes. Would that give you enough time? Okay. 9:20, everybody.
gallery. I would say about 80% of the people in the gallery are wearing pink. And pink is the signature color of the decedent, in this case, Athena Strand. And they have been asked repeatedly over the last 3 years to do pink outs, wear pink in support of Athena. And so we just want the record to reflect the number of people that are here in the gallery that are wearing pink, just in case it becomes an issue later on.
I don't see anything in the clothing that indicates any type of advocating for a certain position or anything like that, so your notice is noted. Are we ready for the jury?
Ready, Your Honor.
You ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, let's go to work.
Ready, Judge?
Just right there, yeah. All rise for the jury, please. Everyone may be seated. Good morning. We are ready to proceed. I apologize for the delay. I need all of you to raise your right hand for me, please. Do you and each of you solemnly swear or affirm that in the case of the state of Texas versus Tanner Lynn Horner, you are a true verdict render according to the law and the evidence to help you God? I do. All right. Everyone may be lower your hand. Mr. Horner, if you would stand, please. Mr. Berry, you may arraign the defendant.
Thank you. May it please the court?
Yes, sir.
In the name and by authority of the state of Texas, the grand jury for the county of Wise, state of Texas, duly selected, impaneled, sworn, charged, and organized as such during the January term AD 2023 of the 271st Judicial District Court for said county, upon their oaths present in and to said court at said term, that Tanner Lynn Horner, hereinafter styled defendant, on or about the 30th day of November 2022, and before the presentment of this indictment in the county and state aforesaid, did then and there intentionally cause the death of an individual, Athena Strand, by strangling and or smothering and or asphyxiating Athena Strand with the defendant's hand, the defendant's foot, and or the defendant's body, and the defendant was in the course of committing or attempting to commit kidnapping of Athena Strand, and signed against the peace and dignity of the state by the foreperson of the grand jury.
Mr. Horner, to the charge of capital murder, you may plead guilty or not guilty. What is your plea?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Thank you. I will accept your plea. You may be seated. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, when a defendant pleads guilty to an offense, I have done admonishments to him outside of your presence and am satisfied that this guilty plea is given freely and voluntarily. So as we get into the trial, I will give you an instruction at the appropriate time for you to find him guilty. Okay? There will no longer be a first phase of the trial to where you will be determining whether or not guilt has been proved beyond a reasonable doubt. I will give you an instruction to find him guilty. So now your sole duty will be to listen to all of the evidence that is going to be presented to you, because you will be using that evidence to determine the proper punishment to be assessed. You will hear the evidence in the same manner, I anticipate, had Mr. Horner pled not guilty. You may use that evidence in your determination in answering the questions that we talked about to you in the individual jury selection interviews, okay? So I just wanted to let you know, you're going to hear the evidence, but you're only going to be dealing with punishment, all right? State wishes to make an opening statement.
We do, Your Honor.
Mr. Stainton.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I'm going to object showing evidence in opening statements.
That's overruled.
Little change of plans this morning. Welcome. Thank you all for being here. Sorry to keep you waiting. This is what this case is about, right here. You know, when I looked at this case, most lawyers, when they have these types of cases, they have kind of a theme of the case, something that sits with them, something that touches them here. And in this case, I looked at Paul in 2 Corinthians when he said, Satan masquerades as an angel of light. And that's what we have here. Let me tell you a little bit about what you're going to see today, what you're going to see over the next few weeks. We're going to present all the same evidence that you would have seen before in guilt. But that's going to be expanded to include the punishment evidence as well. So you're going to get it all in one package. Okay. Let me tell you how this is going to begin. What we're going to start with first is we're going to introduce you to Athena, which is the most important thing, and that's the reason why we're here. So let me give you a little evidence here. Athena's last day. She was in school. She was in Miss Thompson's first grade class. She had a rough day that day, and you'll hear Miss Thompson talk about that. She's strong-willed, very precocious. She's 7. Miss Thompson's going to talk to you a little bit about that last day and tell you what went on and why that's important. You've heard that name over and over, Athena Strand. Born May 23rd, 2015. It's sad that we have to talk about a child in the past tense, who she was, what she liked, who were her friends, who were her parents. It's sad that we have to have this discussion, but that's the evidence that we have to bring you. That's the evidence that's important. Now, in this particular case, I'll tell you a little bit about this picture. Athena had just gotten back from spending some time at her mom's house in Oklahoma. 4 days before she was murdered is when that picture was taken by her mother. Now, November 30th, 2022 is a Wednesday. Kids have just gotten back from Thanksgiving break. Any of y'all have ever been in school, you know that that's a bit of a chaotic time for a teacher. They just got back, and what are they looking forward to? Christmas, right? And who's arriving for Christmas? What I like to call the modern day Santa Claus. Amazon, right? FedEx, UPS, all of the people that we look forward to. And even us as adults, I know for me personally, I look forward to motorcycle parts. And I know my wife looks forward to things like essential oils and devotional books. I know those things. And like I said, that's why I refer to it as the modern day Santa Claus. And I was going to try to do this without my glasses, but it is not working. So here's the way this is going to happen. When Tanner Horner rolled up that day, he rolled up alone. He rolled up bringing what we thought would be joy and happiness and a package. And you're going to see the package, and you're going to see what he was bringing. Why wouldn't Athena be happy to see the FedEx guy, right? He's got a Walmart box. Well, that's not what he brought that day. what you're going to see is that he brought violence, fear, and death. That's what he brought with him. He did not bring with him the joy and happiness that the delivery drivers normally bring. So first off, I want to apologize to y'all for what we're going to have to bring you. The evidence in this case is rough. It is not what I want to show anyone, but it's what's required. It's what's required to show you what he did. And I want to apologize to you now. We're going to do our very best to limit it, to provide you what you need. But I'm the kind of DA, I'm going to bring you all the evidence. Okay? And I feel like it's important you know the complete story. Now, we know a little bit now about Athena, and you're going to hear about her. What about Tanner Horner? Tanner Horner shows up, delivers a package, leaves with Athena. Now, I'm going to put you as close as you can be without actually being there that day. We have video of it, and we're going to show it to you. Now, you may be thinking, wow, maybe we have video of the whole thing. Nope. Somebody covered up the camera because they don't want you to see. Guess what? Audio is still running, and you're going to hear it. You're going to hear what a 250-pound man can do to a 67-pound child. And when I say it's horrible, I mean it. I've been doing this 25 years, and I promise you, buckle up. Now, the important part of this is, what's the truth? It's time to get to the truth. The only truthful thing that Tanner Horner told law enforcement was that he killed her. The pattern and web of lies that he put together, it's going to be hard for y'all to keep up with. It is lie upon lie upon lie upon lie. We have lies about what we did the day before. We have lies about what we did the day of. We have lies about where her body was. We have lies about whether or not she was clothed or not. We have lies and lies and lies. It is hard to keep up with. The only thing he told the truth about was that he killed her. So you're going to hear multiple stories. None of them are true. What's the story that was told in the beginning? That he hit her with a truck. That he somehow freaked out because he thought he was going to lose his job or she was going to tell on him. He picked her up, still freaked out, and killed her. That is an absolute lie. There is no truth to that in any form or fashion. None. Zero, zip, not a nudge. No truth to that whatsoever. In fact, the first words out of Tanner Horner's mouth whenever the ranger first encountered him, when he first encountered him, the ranger says, "Is she alive?" And he says, "She wasn't alive when I put her in the truck." I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to see right up front here, she was very much alive and very much uninjured when he put her in the truck. Let me tell you something that stuck with me here, what you're going to hear when we get to that video. First thing Tanner Horner says to Athena when he picks her up, puts her in that truck, he leans down and he says, "Don't scream or I'll hurt you." He says that twice. You're going to hear it. We're going to put it on screen for you. That's the first thing out of his mouth. He made good on it. Now, where do we go from there? Now, you're going to be able to hear it all on audio. But I'm going to tell you right now, the one thing you're going to hear that is something that you can't unhear is the level of fight that a 7-year-old girl has when she's facing down certain death. We talk about warriors in America. I'll tell you, that little girl right there is a warrior. She fought with the strength of 100 men. 3 days later, we catch up. 3 days later, it took us. What's Tanner Horner during all this time? Good question, right? What's he doing? He's delivering packages just like normal. Made it to work right on time. Made sure that he got the same FedEx truck so we could have his mobile crime scene with him the entire day. This is planning. This is preparation. He knew what was going on. He drove through the scene that day. He drove right through the scene that day. You're going to have video from his truck driving right through that scene, right where he kidnapped her, right where he took her away, and talking to people. What happened? What went on? What happened? In the same truck he killed her in. This is the level of cold-heartedness that you're going to see. Now, we finally locate her. And how do we locate her? Hundreds and hundreds of law enforcement personnel. Canines, dogs, thermal imaging. The ranger had helicopters moving 24/7 looking for her, searching for her, all believing that they were going to find her alive. Where did we find her? We found her at a place called Bobo Crossing. Now, I grew up in Wise County, and I lived not too far away from where her body was dumped. And I have no idea why they call it Bobo Crossing. I haven't found anybody who knows why they call it Bobo Crossing, but that's what they call it. It's probably got a county road number, but nobody knows what it is. People just know what this is. It's a little bit south of Boyd, off of Highway 730. We'll show you some maps. But that's where we found her. We found her where he pitched her off naked in the water. That's where we found her. How did we get to that point? Well, it wasn't without a lot of hard work by the FBI, Texas Rangers, Wise County Sheriff, deputies. We finally locate her. But how did we get to locate her? Well, Tanner Horner made it as difficult as possible to locate her. Again, with more lies upon lies upon lies. Where's her body? Where's her body? It's over here. It's over here. So on and so forth. It's just too much to keep up with, to be honest with you. So many lies. But we find her body. And you know, throughout this whole time when we're looking for the body, you know, when we ask people what happened, you know, sometimes they take responsibility. Not this guy. Every part of that, even before we found her body, is woe is me. Worried about what's going to happen to me. Worried about why I'm not going to see my kid again. Worried about me. Selfish. We haven't even found her body yet, and he's worried about that. But he's so concerned about diverting law enforcement from what's going on. So concerned from diverting law enforcement from deciphering just simply where her body is, that he conjures a whole other persona out of thin air. And all the ranger had to do is look over at him and say, hey, I want to talk to the other guy. Okay, we'll talk to the other guy, and we'll tell you what happened. But that other guy lies as much as it was before. And that's the problem with all of this. We finally find her body, and here's what you're going to see once we find her body. Now, this is where we start getting into punishment. Obviously, the judge has already talked to you about, at some point, he's going to instruct you to find him guilty in that particular case. We're going to talk to you a little bit about punishment. Now, I hadn't planned on talking about punishment today. Change of events. Got to switch gears. What does punishment look like? Well, we have DNA. Not only do we have initial DNA from Athena that has Tanner Horner's DNA under her fingernails, we also have DNA, Tanner Horner's DNA, in places where you shouldn't find DNA on a 7-year-old girl. We're going to take you back in time. We're going to show you what Tanner Horner did to prepare for this, covering up the camera, setting this up. And he was there 24 hours before on the same road at a different house with a different girl. It looks eerily similar to what you're going to see on Athena's video the night before. Again, preparation, planning. Okay? So let's talk a little bit about what you may see in this particular case. We're going to show you the whole video, and we're going to show you how he did it, because I think that's important. It's an hour. It's not 5 minutes. It's an hour. And it's not just one time that he's trying to kill her. It's over and over and over again. You can hear the banging in the truck. You can hear the screams. This is what's coming. It didn't happen fast. Now, when it comes to punishment, you guys know there are two questions, right? Future danger mitigation. We talked to them ad nauseum when you guys were doing Fort Dyer. I'll submit to you that the level of violence that one person can inflict on a child is important. But you're also going to hear all about this individual. You're also going to hear about past and present. And I submit to you that you're also going to hear a bunch of stuff about how he's got some kind of life problems. He's got some kind of medical problems. He's got some kind of this. He's got some kind of that. I anticipate all of that coming up. I anticipate a long line of experts rolled up in here telling you just about how problematic this guy is. That's what's to be expected. It's all an excuse. Okay? It's all an excuse for somebody who's done this. So I submit to you, when we get to that, it's going to take a little bit. We're going to try to streamline it as much as we can. Okay? But it's important. I'm going to leave you with this. When we talk to people about Athena, I told you in the beginning we have to talk about her in the past tense, which is very sad. Remember why we have to talk about it in the past tense. Today, we're about a month away, a little more than a month away from Athena's birthday. She would have been 11. Would have been 11. She would have been looking forward to summertime. She would have been in the 4th grade. Key word is would. It's in the past tense, and we know why. We're ready to present this case to you. We appreciate you being here. Thank you. Judge?
Mr. Goble, we wish you make an opening. I'm sorry?
We wish to make an opening, Your Honor.
Okay.